I'm Tony Poulos and I'm at TelecomAsia 2016. Today I'm with Daniel Tang, who is the CTO of Huawei's fixed network operation. Daniel, great to catch up at last. With virtual reality and 4K video services coming online, there's going to be massive demand for bandwidth, and presumably fibre to the home is going to grow and grow. But it's very expensive rolling it out. How do you see the ways to reduce the cost of fibre to the home construction?
Fiber itself is not so expensive. Actually, it is cheaper than noodle nowadays. What is expensive is to get the fiber to the homes. I think, especially in the Asia-Pacific market, we can take the advantage being in an emerging market. Because in emerging market, every year there are a lot of new constructions. So when we build the houses, when we build the roads, we can just lay out the fiber at the same time. That's much cheaper than rewire the homes or the buildings again after we hand it over to the home buyers. So that's something that everyone needs to think about.
How does ecosystem sharing play a role in reducing this cost?
For example, in Indonesia, there is now an initiative to have collaboration between the telco operators and also real estate developers who can work together to roll out the fiber while they either build the new houses or when they refurbish the buildings. So this kind of a collaboration can greatly save extra effort. Similarly, recently, also in Indonesia, we have seen that on the long-distance optical fiber routes, the government is taking every opportunity to co-locate the fiber effort together with new effort to build high-speed railways or high-speed highways. I think this is mainly in Indonesia, but it's something we can think about in other countries as well. Another interesting example is recently in Ireland, in Italy, the electricity power grid companies are becoming very active. Think about it, because power grid companies is just like the telco companies. They have a national network. They have, that deliver the service to every household. They also have a lot of ground maintenance staff. So it's a perfect resource that we can tap into to roll out fiber infrastructure to every homes.
What are the benefits of lower cost, and what does it do to the business model? How does it change the business model?
I think it takes time before that you see the end result. But at least in China, in US, in Japan, we have seen early progress. As we all know, in China, the e-commerce generation is very successful. In China, I think we're skipping the credit card time. So basically, directly getting into the cashless e-commerce era. So basically, we're skipping the credit card generation that took the United States almost 50 years to grow up and get mature. I think it's a great example to show that although we're not the first round of developed nations, but the second mover advantage is something we can think about, and then we can do leapfrog when taking up this kind of new technologies.
How can governments help bridge the digital divide between the urban and rural areas?
I would like to also expand the question. We not only need to get the unconnected people get connected, we also need to think about the underconnected people. If you are connected to the internet, but with very poor performance of internet, then you're underconnected. We have seen that in a lot of countries like US, in UK as well, and also of course in Japan and China, governments are redefining the standard benchmark for broadband connectivity, especially in the urban areas. In the rural areas, it is probably more challenging. We see some more aggressive approach by the Chinese government that they want to have fiber to every villages. It's going to be more expensive, but things happen in China somehow. In other markets, for example, in UK, the government raised the benchmark for urban broadband to something they call ultra-fast broadband, which is 300 megabps. In the rural areas, there is a program called Broadband Delivery UK, or BDUK, where the government actually subsidize the project to roll out so-called super fast broadband to the rural areas and also to remote towns, not typical rural area village, but remote towns, which is also expensive. So the way they work it out is the government has a bidding process that they invite anyone to participate in this bidding process. And then central government provide 25% of the funding. Local, municipal government will provide another 25%. And the private sector will provide roughly 50%. It has been working very well.
And what part do you see Huawei playing in this?
Of course, as a leading technology solution provider, we can give you the best solutions in the industry. On top of that, we can also share with our customers or the regulation agencies in local market to find out what are the best practices in the industry from other countries. And then you can think about how to leverage those experiences in the local market.
Daniel, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you very much for your time.